Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the CEO Circle as part of the Women in Tech Next Gen Living Forum at Sharjah Research, Technology and Innovation Park. My name is Aya Isa, and I serve as a regional director for IPT Energy. So much of my work sits at the intersection of energy, sustainability, and innovation. And like many of you here today, I am curious about how the next generation of leaders, especially women and our man today, representative, are shaping industries, communities, and values for the future. Exactly. This forum is about more than technology. It's about how the next generation of women leads, how we preserve what matters, and how we embrace innovation responsibly. So our conversation today will touch on these three themes. I want to start with what traditions and values do we keep and what do we leave behind. We'll then move into how innovation and leadership are evolving across different sectors. And we'll close off with personal journeys, hopes, and legacies for the future. I'm honored to be moderating this panel here today, this discussion among exceptional leaders who bridge diplomacy, entrepreneurship, health innovation, technology. Let me now introduce our distinguished panelists. I'll start with Her Excellency, Lucy Berger. She has served as the European Union ambassador to the UAE since 2023, with over a decade of diplomatic experience across climate, trade, and global cooperation from Brussels, Geneva, and Riyadh. She brings a strong focus on sustainability, international partnerships, and next-generation leadership. I'll introduce next Mr. Mohammed Hilal, who is a distinguished Emirati businessman, leader, and visionary entrepreneur whose career spans aviation, luxury, and cross-industry innovation. As founder and CEO of Mohammed Hilal Group, he has built one of the UAE's most influential multi-sector enterprises, with iconic brands and collaborations that have redefined regional luxury. Recognized for his entrepreneurial vision with multiple awards, his leadership also extends into national institutions and higher education, where he serves on boards and advisory councils, shaping entrepreneurship, governance, and innovation. I would then like to introduce Nadine Karadag, who is the co-founder of Valio, a Dubai-based health tech startup that raised over 20 million in Series B funding to pioneer personalized well-being. An INSEAD MBA with career in private equity, IPOs, and large-scale operations, she turned her personal health journey into a mission to empower people to take control of their well-being. And I will end it with Victoria Daunt, who leads alliances at W Digital, a UAE Future 100 firm in cybersecurity and AI. She brings cross-sector insight, applying lessons from hospitality to drive human-centered innovation. She co-launched Expertise Lab to help brands adapt emerging technologies from AI to blockchain. She's also the founder of She Runs It, empowering women to pursue entrepreneurship, financial freedom, and wellness. So welcome, everybody. We'll start with our first theme. Quick recap: what to keep, what to leave behind. And I'd like to start with Your Excellency, Lucy, on the global diplomatic values. And in diplomacy and global cooperation, what values do we preserve for future generations?
Thank you very much for having me, first of all, and good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor, actually, to speak with so many impressive CEOs of really innovative companies. I come from the diplomatic background, so I'm bridging to the diplomacy. The values that we should actually keep for the future generations, I've prepared four. It's optimism, respect, connectivity, and equity. And let me elaborate. I'm a very optimistic person, and I also believe that we actually have to strive for the future generations to actually leave the best future or build the best future for them. I also think that without dreams, there's no change, and there is always optimism in dreaming, and there has to be optimism in dreaming in order to achieve change. So that's the first one. When it comes to respect, respect actually cuts across everything that is important in diplomacy. Respect for life, to start, respect for others, for other cultures, and also actually respect for the rules that we've built over time and that we called the rules-based order. So that's the value I think we should also preserve. Normally, I would talk about communication, but we are here on Technology Forum, and so I'm looking at connectivity because I think it's the modern way of communicating, connecting people, and using technology also actually for bringing cultures, people, and ideas together. And finally, equity, inclusion. Of course, we're talking about women in technology. For the EU, it's not only inclusion of women, but diversity overall. And nowadays, we even have countries where we have more female ambassadors than male ambassadors, for example, in Finland. So there's also inclusion of men in these countries that becomes a new policy. I think if we are building a future, there have to be women involved in technology development. I think you've heard it many times today, you've seen it, and it's an established fact. We cannot build technology that only takes into account one point of view and one experience, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence, for example. And as an example from my work, we recently organized an AI Ideathon, Women Shaping Water. And I have to tell you the results that we got, the ideas from these young women and girls from universities actually, coming up with solutions that are huge problems at country level is very inspirational, and that brings me back to the optimism. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And perfect segue, I guess, to Victoria. So as technology transforms our lives, which human values do you believe we should carry forward with us?
So I loved your values, and I actually very agree with everything that you said. However, I'd like to add maybe 3 more. So the first one that I found important is integrity, because I found that you need to look in integrity in everyone. It can be your partner, your business partner, teammate, anyone. It's very important to look at that in people. Another one is also courage, and mixed with vulnerability. Because for me, it's very important to be courageous, having the courage to take risks without even guarantees, without knowing that the outcome would be fabulous. But you need to have the courage to tell yourself that you can do it and take this risk to potentially have an amazing outcome. And it leads also to vulnerability, because for me it's very important to acknowledge sometimes the fact that you're wrong and that you need help and that you can improve. So being having the courage to be also vulnerable. And a last one that is, I think, underrated is a sense of humor and having the smile on people's face. And that is something that we don't speak about a lot, but it's very important to know that you're here, and that by, just having some love with people and making them feel good, you can build amazing connection that any argument couldn't make.
Thank you very much. And again, that gives me a perfect segue to Nadine a bit on the well-being, because if you're making people feel good, means you're also ideally happy, good, you're well in your skin. So from your perspective, which traditions in wellness and health should we keep alive as we look forward?
Sure. Thank you for today. It makes me actually very happy to be here because I grew up in Sharjah, so came back to my roots. about what to keep as traditions. One good news is the new generation is the wellness generation. They are actually, the next gen spends more time and money on taking care of their wellness than our generation and the older generation. So I guess there is a lot of learning that comes from each generation. I think now we spoke today about biohacking, longevity, and sometimes all of these can be very overwhelming. The basics are really, the traditions we should keep is eat home-cooked food, which is very important, sleep well, which is also one of our foundations, move. Move doesn't mean you need to run a marathon. For someone, it's a marathon. For someone, it's maybe walking 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes per day. And also, lastly, the most important, because I am in diagnostics and at-home care, do know your data. Do your preventative health checkups. One important thing that is very important to know is insurance. I know insurance is a huge subject. Who's insured, what's insurance covered, all of these. Insurance is only interested to cover your cost if you are sick. They are not supposed to take care of you before, but something that is very important is your sugar levels, your cholesterol levels, your vitamin D levels. These are the basics that I think every person, starting from youth, should know. And just taking diabetes levels. Diabetes levels, you shouldn't only think, am I diabetic or not? Am I pre-diabetic? Are my sugar levels a bit higher than last year? Did I change my lifestyle in a way that I'm trending towards being pre-diabetic and then diabetic? So, these traditions, we should keep them. And I think my father, and I would imagine other people's parents, there's this mindset of, we have diabetes in the family, so when I grow old, I'm gonna get diabetes too. No. Let this new generation change that mindset and not bring that tradition to now.
Thank you very much. And it's true, once you're addicted to the data, it's impossible to get out of it. But good news, it's a good thing. So thank you. I want to bring it back a bit to culture and business, to Mohammed Hilal, and ask, which traditions do you believe should be preserved?
Thank you for this beautiful question, and thank you, ladies, for starting this discussion.
Gentlemen. Thanks.
Yeah. Actually, I think we really need to fundamentally rethink of tradition, as she said. Traditions are not old, repeated practices. They're actually there to help us and protect us. Lately, I felt most of the people trying to protect tradition, which is the wrong thinking, I guess. We need to start thinking back, is this tradition, which we call a tool to help us survive, is doing the job or no? Then we think how we can take it forward, because we're shaping a new tradition right now. And we should think, as she said as well, diabetes shouldn't be part of our belief system that we will carry forward. Many more traditions that we shouldn't carry forward. But for me, I have 3 Fs. One of them, fun, fair, and forward thinking. These are the right core simple formula to make you progress, flourish, and grow forward. Complicating your life with many details sometimes make it hard. But when it's fun, fair, and forward, it's easy to enjoy your life and always drop your love.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So we've left things behind, we've carried things forward, and that brings me to theme number 2, next-gen leadership and innovation. How the younger generations and the entrepreneurs are reshaping opportunities in leadership today. I will start with Victoria on how are women entrepreneurs and innovators reshaping leadership for the next generation, coming from an entrepreneur yourself.
It's a very interesting question because it's true that I found that it has evolving a lot. And I would say it is evolving in a very powerful way because I found that right now leaders and the next generation want to bring other people and the next generation forward. So when they rise, they want to bring people rising with them. So I found that right now people not only create new leaders, but add new leaders and bring other women with them. And I found that with just, for example, the power of community. Right now, there's a lot of women community, a lot of women podcasts. We have a lot of ways through social media and influence that shows us that it's possible to rise all together. And I found that, first of all, beautiful, this collaboration over competition. And I found one of the biggest change also around leadership is simply that I found right now that it's beautiful to see, for example, a legacy building created. So I found that amazing that when a woman wants to build something, she's not only telling herself, oh, what will I, create, but what will I also leave behind? What will the next generation will see? What big impacts I can make? And I found that very beautiful.
Thank you very much. And you bring up legacy, which brings me to Mohammed. How has your journey from pilot to entrepreneur shaped your view of legacy and innovation, as that's our topic?
As being a pilot, I discovered that there is no flight plan for entrepreneurship. There are principles that will help you navigate and pass through your journey. But the only thing that I maybe focus on my journey is really thinking of legacy in a very special way. I think the greatest legacy is when we invent ourselves. Most of the time we focus on producing a company or a product or a brand. But what about us? Let's imagine each of us, inside him, there could be a Michael Jordan or an Einstein or Steve Jobs. And to me, from being a pilot, leaving that job to venture into perfume and design and all these things, I was thinking of that beautiful legacy, not for me, for my children, because I will inherit my neural pathways and DNA to them, which I thought, this is the greatest legacy I will have given to the community, to my family, to identify my natural talent, my natural passion, and then merge them together to invent a new capability that is so unique that nobody can compete with. And I think this is the greatest thinking toward legacy. Invent yourself first. Don't find a job and run for it. Think within, navigate, fly inside, understand your instrument, your capability, your environment, and understand where you will be the greatest person at. And that's a huge benefit to yourself, to your family, and to the community.
Thank you for that. I want to ask Nadine, how is technology changing the way people take ownership of their health today?
Now, if we look at, for example, Value Health, I say we use technology to remove all excuses to take care of yourself. On the app and many other apps, on the app you can book a nurse to come to your house, take your blood test. You get your results on the app analyzed. You can connect with a doctor or a nutritionist to give you advice. And then whatever required, we deliver it at home. So really, technology empowers you to take care of yourself. Before you had to go to somewhere, you had to, and with the current traffic and the time, it's impossible. So I always say technology removes all roadblocks. It simplifies things. It gives you the data. It gives you transparency. It makes it convenient. We are very much obsessed with checking our financial trends or taking our car for maintenance. But we don't think of our own bodies. So if technology makes it easier for us to understand our bodies, understand our trends, because your financial trend or your car going to maintenance will mean nothing if your health is not in the correct place. So please use all the technology there is there to take care of yourself and understand your body.
Thank you very much. And to close off this theme, I want to ask you, Your Excellency, on how are younger generations in Gulf reshaping diplomacy and leadership to bring it back on high level after delving into it?
Thank you. In my career, especially between Europe and GCC, I've witnessed exchange programs where we try to share the experience from diplomacy with the youth from the Gulf and also with the youth in Europe. And I have to say, the one thing that really strikes me the most is passion. I think the young leaders, both in Europe and Gulf, and probably globally, are actually shaping diplomacy and future of leadership through their passion. It's very inspiring. It's actually something that gives you the belief that there is energy and dynamism that can bring us to a better future. Even at times it might look quite difficult. So I think passion would be the one that I want to point out. But also it goes hand in hand with curiosity and a vast amount of information and knowledge that I cannot imagine I would have had when I was young. So it's actually this combination of bringing the information, critical thinking, building knowledge, and trying to apply it in an innovative way with the passion that actually I think is really formulating the future of leaders and diplomats in both regions. But I also want to point out one thing that I've experienced here in the UAE. We organized a number of cooperation in international relations, including the first model of European Union. It's a simulation of how we take decisions in the EU, essay competition, and so on. And we mostly have women who participate here in the UAE. I think we had about 20 women at the University of Sharjah and 4 men in the model of European Union. So I think the young generation shaping diplomacy are women. And that's very comforting and nice to see.
Amazing. We are here today to celebrate that and see how we're going to grow that anyway. Which brings me to the third part of our discussion today on personal lessons, inspirations, and legacy. Nadine, what values guide you in balancing innovation with personal, human-centered health practices?
Thinking, we were now discussing legacy. And I think legacy is such a big word. I mean, it's a big word, right? And it's such a big responsibility. I think when it comes to leaders, if you're living your purpose and you're living it truly and authentically and with integrity, that's where you can create the legacy, the values. Now, if we look at what type of, can you repeat sorry?
Values that guide you in balancing basically innovation with your human-centered approach.
So I started about the purpose. The purpose I launched Value Health was because of family experience. We had chronic diseases in the family, so we were always in and out of the hospital, and that's how my purpose came to be. At the end, technology is there to bring that, to help us bring that human connection. I think a lot of us have gone to a hospital, sat in front of a doctor, and not that this doctor was right or wrong, but the doctor was more interested in writing on his laptop instead of like looking at you and giving you feedback. And then also, let's say, interested in like finding the CPT code for insurance instead of listening to you and thinking of you. So as long as in healthcare and wellness, we use technology to support us, give better service to whoever we're serving, that's where the most important values are.
Thank you. Victoria, what inspired you to start She Runs It? And how does it reflect what we keep and what we let go of?
Thank you for the question. So what inspired me to create She Runs It, this woman empowering community, was when I looked at women, you know, those women that felt trapped by financial dependence, trapped by geography, by, you know, the fact that they had to rely on someone else. And when I looked at that, I said that there is something that, you know, we already start the change, but needs to be pushed. And so that's why I created, you know, this sisterhood that I wish I had when I started this journey of building my own business, on scaling, you know, the corporate ladder. And so I said that now, with the power of social media and influence, if I have the power to bring my experience to life, that's what I will do through this movement. And so that's how I started to create that. And now it's a community that I try to expand all over the world. And I come from France, so I'm very happy to share that here in the UAE. And I think it's also very important because I think the change is even more impactful in the UAE currently right now. So very happy to share that, and thank you for your question.
Thank you for that. Your Excellency, if you can define the next-gen global community in one value, what would it be? In one hope or value?
Solidarity. It's something that is very close to our heart in the European Union. It's something that I think should guide us going forward. I do see it actually in the young generation. I hope we can continue building on solidarity. Just a little bit going in history of the EU, it actually was built with the idea of bringing peace through economic cooperation. And if there was not this vision of solidarity across the countries, we would not be where we are. And sometimes we have difficulties to agree on things, and sometimes it takes us really long time to make a move. But it's always the solidarity that actually helps us to push through crises and to make progress. And I think solidarity across countries, across generations, across gender is actually what I hope will define the future generation.
That's amazing. Thank you. I've saved the best for last. Mohammed, what is the one tradition or value that you hope your brands will help keep alive for future generations?
Wow, this is a very tough question, but I love it actually. You know, we really love to understand how people feels, and we created something actually new. We call it emotional innovation, which we call it innovation. It's not technology, it's nothing. It's how to invent a new feeling, innovation. So that's our real thing we want to give to the world. You will tell me how. I'll tell you, you know what? Everything we do every day is to feel something other than progress. Progress, we seek progress, but more powerful than progress is how do we feel? How I want to feel. And that's my drive to do this thing. And I always ask people, when you woke up, are you clear what you want to feel today? No one cares about it, but this is the number one thing we're working for. So our brand and our, let's say, group will help people realize which feeling they want to feel and live every day and protect it from the morning all the way to the night by using a smell or a thought process to keep your day the way you want. Because you don't need much to feel what you want to feel. You need just to be aware of it and then fight for it, protect it, and live it. And I'll give you a quick example. We are launching a new feeling. We call it aliyai. As you told me before, you said a lot of people globally stressed because they have to be clear about their future. And many of us are not. They're working hard to identify that future, right? But we tell them there is a feeling which help you fight back the society which expects you to be mastering your business or mastering your job by feeling aliyai, which means that I'm working on myself to identify what I want to achieve, when I will achieve it, and how. So take it easy with me. So people are more content, more relaxed, and more happy. Our vision and mission is to help people to be more aware of their feeling, what they want to achieve, We want to invent more feelings. Since 1970, when the computer were invented, laptop were created, and internet is deployed, our life is so fast and so easy. Easy without joy, fast with no moments that we remember. So what happened, we developed externally so much, but internally we're still very hollow. So we invent a new feeling to fill those space inside us for us and for our next generation. And this is what we want to bring to the world. We believe it's one of the greatest purpose. It's not smaller than Tesla or Apple because it's free and it doesn't require the internet. Imagine every year we stand on a stage launching a new feeling that will make us all feel better. So it's mobile is good, but a feeling will give you way more effective result in yourself.
Thank you very much. I think we're already all feeling much better today and
So every day
discovering
morning,
one feeling at a time.
one thing I would like to say, every day morning when you wake up, think which feeling you want to protect when you do what? When you move your hand to hold your perfume bottle. Because nobody owns this hand movement, right? When you move hand, you don't think of anything. When you move your hand toward your perfume bottle, think, this is my moment, and my perfume bottle is a representation of my life. So I'm in control of my life. What do I want to feel today? And when you spray your fragrance, link it to that feeling. So you remember every time. I'm not saying buy my fragrances, but I'm saying whatever fragrance you have, link it with that feeling you want to protect and live the whole day with that feeling. And I'm sure tomorrow you will remember us when you move your hand, inshallah.
There's a reason storytelling is at the core of what you do and how you grow. I want to do one thing before I close, a rapid fire closing session. And the one thing I want to ask, one word out of all you speakers, is what is the one human value that you believe technology and innovation must never replace?
Human
Otherwise, I have what ChatGPT predicted you guys would say. So I want to see if it matches or not. Please, whoever would like to start.
I can start. Connection. I think, well, you know, Sir Muhammad, you talk about feelings. We forget all of these. I think connection, community.
Empathy.
I think I come back to integrity for one thing important regarding that. It's, you know, the fact that what is important in integrity is because you are good as a human being and not just doing things because you know that people look at you and so you have to be good, but just being good even though you know that nobody is watching you.
Thank you.
It's a very tough question again. And I will not say
You just
anything.
said without a computer, you're able to do so much.
But I think we're not seeing the future, genuinely. All what we think we're trying to protect, the computer will do it. But we need to shift our perspective. And instead of competing with the tools, riding the tools. So by the time that those tools are capable to do what we think they cannot do, we should have a new uniqueness that will ask the tool to do for us. So we shouldn't fight with the tool. We just use it, apply it, make it help us, and let's stop making it that our enemy somehow. Because we are trying to say that, you know, tools will not take this away from us. But in reality, we invented it. Let us do what it can do to help us live and achieve a better life for us. So I don't have anyone to raise.
I said already empathy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We go with empathy. So I'll keep it very brief at closing. I'm going to go back to keywords that I've heard today. Feeling, passion, empathy, forward thoughts, emotional innovation, I like this a lot, legacy, well-being, inclusion, integrity we've mentioned, curiosity, courage, solidarity. And I believe this, I will leave you with this as the key pillars that seem and that really do capture the spirit of the next-gen leadership. Thank you very much to our speakers. Thank you to everybody here today. It was great to have you.
Very interesting, I have to say. Very nice. She runs it.